yɛbɛkɔ ababa Pinax live update so. Now, and some boba. One of the most serious one abeto yapono so say. And it said there is this issue. I say it is the very first scandal of a year John Dramani Mahama, president of the land. This will be the very first scandal. But now this is coming from Manasseh Azure. Now yebekaya ono aso na de a year NSS scandal no start year or revealing the chair a oral team no. Emma yehwe ma hu say yes no correct. There is this kind of scandal ekoso ewo NSS. Ono ankasa no asa aba. Now I be revealing a year this kind of a year anamontua a year the NDC, the ruling NDC party omuntua. It can be classified as the very first scandal. And I say, Ketashisha no mebia, for the current NDC government. Now, what government? What is he saying? 2 weeks into a year, President John Dramani Mahama or assuming office, and a Manasseh Azure trail letter command. Prior to that, I didn't kind. I have some revelations. Bebre, I didn't kind. about going into a year the swearing in no oral team they started here. And he wrote a letter to the president, then president, and he didn't see so 2 weeks time, and then he didn't see so the letter come out. Now let anyone send no from a year time I didn't see so 9 months down the line, no, and someone or can a woman no ebia started air than when this is here. Now and I who say. It is going to say President John Dramani Mahama it is going to be one of the biggest scandals a bit me for it. And first year and as a way cost then we can imagine the remaining 3 years no and some ABCC. But now what was a year in the letter a year Manasseh Azure tried to come out President John Dramani Mahama from time I didn't see Subesine who said I started a manifest now. Manasseh Azure writes President Mahama's first scandal. What did he write? Now, let's look at the letter first. 2 weeks after he took office, I wrote an open letter to the President John Dramani Mahama. It was titled Gold Mines and Land Mines. Manasseh's open letter to President Mahama. Now, Otre letter at the Koma President Mahama. 2 weeks prepare oba abaimuno. No the letter no Koma said the bedin kakano. Now, title letter no Gold Mines and land mines. Now, what is in that gold mines and land mines letter or the command President John Dramani Mahama? In that letter, I named some low-hanging fruits the president could pluck and succeed. I also mentioned potential pitfalls he should watch out for. And in that letter, Obobo Niema Biso, first of all, Obo some low-hanging fruits. I mean, you can't low-hanging fruits. I even aware class no. One nama obetimi akopie mango so obetimi akopie anka so and some of these ones are hang above format to the extent that what ones are obetimi ateno ene with these low hanging fruits President Mahama obetimi atete e wona mamuomu na etimi aboa no. So there are some aspects ho no mo de so man ani ko ho no target ho a ebetimi aboa na man succeed as a president. And then he also mentioned some potential pitfalls he should watch out for. No say and some people who I say some aspects of his governance ebi ode boketa hye some of these things say one hwe na say some of these aspects no one hwe na say ohwe ho nso bebrebe a ebetimi ama no abofom. On the land mines, my number one question was Operation Recover or Loot, the government's anti-corruption initiative. Here's what he wrote. Now, Opache said, on the land mine category, I never want to let anyone back or boarding or President John Dramani Koko. Oral team now, now, what did he write? A DNO tray pote and the oral team, they say, President Mahama, on any year, I will hold no oral team now, no more teaching call for the man for some over way you are, yes, why you way, what the Sikako to her say. Way corruption be waketa hyehyɛ nsɛm bi for ne ho nti yɛn hwɛ ɔmo nsɛm mu no ɛdeɛ na Manasseh Azure trɛ fa ho a ɛnɛ ɛda ne ho adi ɔse oral going after stolen wealth is a slippery path. The Akufo-Addo administration attempted to recover loot, but it resulted in a scandal when the government led senior minister Yao Osafomafo hired Crow Associates to audit transactions. Now let's look here. The oral team, the NDC, try say recover sika amount for area wa banya etwamuno. Enyo bone. Past government Akufo-Addo did the same thing. President Akufo-Addo also did the same thing. But ayedi be mu senka mboa nanka yenjije se sika yenhwehwemu ye hu se sika wei ebi fa ha nye nyina na ba ban ho no. Later no ebeye a very big scandal. Ye nyina ye be kai eye GRA ni SLA dealer. Eba ya later eba ma ye hu se SLA former try ma Ghana eye some of revenue are generating no boa audit here who say now for some people are underpaying their taxes. They are not declaring any amount they are not declaring it all. Until a masikani be fan chain anyhow. I mean they are not paying the actual tax they are supposed to pay. Later we realized that we were even paying SLA for no even more than what they are bringing in as a associate, and I say a kuaya form sen komo Ghana na yen recover ye sika efa yen sasia yen sankano. And this is one of the caution or the bono. So it resulted in a scandal when the government led by senior minister Osafomafo hired Crow Associates to audit transactions. That is the first part. Now on the oral team, your oral team and the government ought to be above board. Those who have stolen millions of dollars can easily cut deals with some of your officials and appointees. This is what he said 2 weeks the NDC took power. This is what he wrote in his letter. And the Orche said, the oral team no, also omutimi eye emojuma said they are above, everything. One, you can't persuade them. Untimi mfa sika potini bia ma me dada o mo se o monji we munye we na mo kan asem ni sei mo me mfa ha sei mo de monji we na ye hu sa asem ne be dane ni sei ye be kan ni sei. This is what Manasseh Azure said as of that time. And he was saying those who have stolen millions of dollars can easily cut deals with some of your officials and appointees. Because sika ne dawson as at the time you move fra be mu sam pass will be a sika one them enya agro. And he said, or manipulating or appointee, said a bear, and some I did for a more person, you bet me. You're manipulating in such a way, so they can do it. And this is a fair warning that Manasseh Azure wrote in his letter and sent to President John Dramani Mahama 2 weeks when he assumed office. Now, let's continue. If you show signs of weakness, oral could become a major scandal in your administration and disarm you from embarking on serious accountability. Oral should apply to members of your own administration. So this is what Manasseh Azure wrote. Our chair says, "One here, oral will become one of the biggest scandals in Ghana politics." And the only year now, who say yes, indeed, the people who are working in the oral team are up. They are up there to the extent say, you can't. Manipulate any other person. Now, what is making this very, very interesting? Yemani Huse and some President John Dramani Mahama here, it will become one of the biggest scandals. It is happening under his government. Now, Fifi Fiave Kwete, NDC National Secretary. NDC National Secretary, over the week, Association of Lawyers, NDC party, conference. No mushia no. Or the same to tuja. Nane sema okano. And the also say yes, indeed. What Manasseh Azure said, proud to 2 weeks into NDC betana bemuno. Say man no Manasseh Azure say or a prophet or a political prophet and then some okano. Now, what did Fifi Kwete said? He said, many amongst us, despite the fact that pleas and pressure are coming, that punishment has to be meted and this must be done properly. Some amongst us are busy trying to cut deals with people who are supposed to be prosecuted. He said, when he says, see pressure back a buying so much way, or more much or mono, making sure say you prosecute to or court. There are trials and people are being sentenced to jail. That is the pressure that the NDC is facing right now. Democrats start to say, we are looking for fair justice, fair trials. I bet bringing results. But deep down in the NDC, there are other people in the NDC who are trying to manipulate the system in favor of the people Omwankasa NDC for no echi omo. Among for Omwankasa machi omo say they are corrupt officials. Omo diska bind that ane twemuno omo diska no. Now you these same officials, you are trying to cut deals. Muni omo cut deals. Now they are posing as lawyers for them. How is this possible? Say wankasa wo aban mu mo aban aba watching for binu say oh mo discuss ka for monsase during the past administration. Now mo ankasa in your party, how much are you taking from these people? How much are you taking from these people? So these are some of the issues ama and some no aye hupa say yes indeed. Some of these predictions are Manasseh Azure no abem. Now, let's continue from here. I'll say some are becoming conduits through whom pressure is being brought to bear on people who are supposed to do what is right. I may not mention names, but a time will come when we may have to. Now, and I make up pressure no, because there are people within the party who are trying to make efforts. Say. Just to bring these people to book. Corrupt officials in the past administration. Bring you to book. There are other people are also corners and I'm pressure. They are supposed to make sure punishment is being meted. And I say trial will take place for sentences and then judgments to okay. And I say, so was Manasseh a prophet? Because he said, I may not mention names, but a time will come when we may have to. A time will come when Fifi Kwete will come in a press conference. They are thwarting the efforts of the current government. Efforts are put in place because that is what Ghanaians expect from the government. That yes, indeed, and now there has been some scandals and corruptions. There are some officials what are you doing about it? Pronouncements. We might say the royal team presented the number of people and the scandals are cause so corruption near my cause. Now these same officials are trying to cut deals with NPP4 just to shield them. At the end of the day, and people have started talking about it. Say, there is an 80% assurance baby say, these things that is happening is not going to give a fair trial in both sides, because Obioha documents on Famra Assad now. They are giving reasons why some of those documents are irrelevant. And some of these things, Fifi Kwete, he's the national secretary for the NDC, and or boss was saying, this is what is happening in the current NDC government. So this is what Manasseh said. 2 weeks NDC came into power, and 9 months down the line, it is happening, and it is being tagged. Says President Mahama here, it will be one of the scariest of scandals. Say and people are trying to do all sort of deals. Efforts need. So this is what is happening. How this thing will end. Say indeed, if President Mahama or the Naibe form said attention in betimi akoso. And I said, Obey ama for akati deals. Na ebe we ase no, Oma yachi omo MPP ni nyina, ye beja omo. Eje be di achi, de be free mo bia. Edin bi ato forma, ebe ma so enso ate. Aha, Pinaxtv.